Hi, mamas. Thank you so much for being on the call tonight. I've got my little baby here, my puppy, and we have five mamas who cannot wait to pour into you. I hear that mom life is literally crazy all the time. No one quite understands madness like mamas. You guys are master of the madness, coordinator of the chaos, and you're dealing with so much on a daily basis: diapers, laundry, meals, chauffeuring, homework, homeschooling now, so many different things. And you're juggling it all because you love those children. Well, we actually planned this event long before I ever even heard the word coronavirus. Originally, we just wanted to come on here and pour belief into you that as a mama, whatever phase of momming you're in, whether you can't wait to be a mom, you have littles at home, toddlers, children, you have adult children, whatever that is, whatever season of motherhood you're in, we wanted to pour belief into you that this opportunity and these products are exactly what you need in your life. Mamas need these products to feel their best, to keep up with the kiddos, to kind of not ride the emotional roller coaster, to be able to do those late night feedings and then go to the basketball game and still have time for date night. We wanted to pour belief that this is a really unique opportunity for moms to be able to literally make as much as brain surgeons in their yoga pants while they don't miss a beat with their kids. Well, with everything going on right now, with jobs being unknown and schooling being unknown, and basically so many things are shutting down, there are so many unknowns that we're facing. We felt like even more than ever, we wanted to hop on and pour belief that this is exactly the place that you could find your answers. Many of us have found our answers here. The products have been clinically proven to boost immune system. That's what we need right now, right? And then you can also work this if you want to bring in a little bit of mama fun money or really substantiate your family's income from an app on your phone. So without further ado, I want you to hear from these mamas who have been where you are. They get it. These mamas who have been where you are and they get it. You're going to hear from a mom whose husband was deployed. You're going to hear from one who was a widowed single mother of four. You're going to hear from one who was a stay-at-home mom and wasn't sure she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. One whose husband lost his job and she only had $36 in the bank and then was able to adopt. And another one who just didn't want to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. So wherever you are, we are so glad you are here and we can't wait to pour into you. So first, I want to introduce you to Jacqueline. She has three kids, ages 7, 6, and 3, who she calls her three peas in a pod: Presley, Paxton, and Penelope. She loves avocados. She cheers for the Kansas City Chiefs, and she remembers not so fondly a time when her son pooped all over multiple pieces of furniture in the nursery, and she distinctly remembers gagging and then downing a bottle of wine in the middle of the day. So, Jacqueline, take us back to mom life and tell us how this has blessed you.
Oh my gosh, that makes me laugh. It was a glass of wine in the middle of the day, not an entire bottle, but I probably could have done the exact same thing. Thank you so much for that introduction. And I am so excited to talk to you guys today. First of all, it's like adult interaction. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. So I was the stay-at-home mom that wasn't sure she wanted to be one. I mean, gasp, right? You don't usually hear that. Most moms are working jobs and they want to be home, but I was a little bit different. I had been a social studies teacher for 9 years when Plexus was introduced to me. And for so long, I said no because I had already had experience with network marketing and I knew that I was not cut out for it. I knew that I was not going to want to invest a lot of money in inventory and host parties and work really hard to not make a dent in any sort of inventory I'd already purchased. So when this was presented to me, I was a new stay-at-home mom. I had my kids, my first two kids, 21 months apart. And if you know anything about a teacher salary, that paired up with daycare costs, it was kind of a wash. So we decided that I was going to be home with the kids, which was definitely a transition phase for me. I could tell something was missing for me. Not only was I tired, not only was I sugar addicted, Diet Dr. Pepper addicted, grumpy, anxiety ridden, But I needed something more than making peanut butter jelly sandwiches and wiping snotty noses. I didn't know it at the time, but once I finally said yes to Plexus, that really filled my cup. Now, I was this busy mom scrambling around trying to figure out how to have these two wild, high energy kids running around my house. And I made it work. It was so easy to make it work when I had these products that were literally changing how I felt. I had energy. I felt happier. My anxiety was dissipating. I was losing the last bit of baby weight. And the business started to take off. And it was one of those things that I could work in the nooks and crannies of my day. I could work from my cell phone. As when I would meet up for play dates, I could talk to my friends about what I was doing, and it was amazing. So that was kind of the first phase of Plexus for me, was, kind of adjusting to that stay-at-home mom life and having those two littles. Well, then sometimes things can happen when you find yourself losing weight and having more energy. Sometimes you end up with a surprise Plexus baby that you were not planning to have. So that was me. I already have these two crazy kids, and then I find out I'm pregnant again. On top of that, I was facing some really tough challenges with that pregnancy. I was diagnosed with placenta previa. I was having, regular appointments to check on me to make sure everything was okay. There was a time period they thought I had placenta accreta, which is where your placenta can grow into surrounding organs, comes with a mortality rate. That was a very scary time. That was also the time I went diamond. I went to the top of the company while facing possible mortality. Kind of crazy, right? I really, really credit taking care of my gut health with getting me through that crazy time period. And you might think bed rest, oh, that's an easy time to work. You guys, I had two littles running around too. I'm on bed rest. I'm in and out of the hospital. I could still make it work. And then the third phase is the phase that I'm in now. So I had 3 kids within 4 years, and it's a challenge, but it's fun. And they see me working, they see me set goals, they see me going on these trips, they see me as a leader, and it really, it does something for them. I love that I can show them that setting goals, going for them, living a healthy lifestyle is exactly what I want to model for them, because that's exactly what I want for them in their lives. Whatever they want, I want them to set goals. I want them to work hard, and I want them to live healthy, happy lives. So, at this point in my life, the plan was I was going to go back to teaching. Once the kids were in school, in elementary school, it was time for me to go back. And that's not the case anymore. My time is better spent on my Plexus business, and then being able to be a room parent for my kids, to be a volunteer on field trips, to make sure that I can take them and help out some friends, getting them to activities and sports and all the things. I'm present. My cup is filled. I'm healthy. I'm happy. And this opportunity is not at all what I expected. It is infinitely more. So I am so, so grateful for Plexus improving my family's health and giving us a financial future that I never anticipated. And now, especially with the times we're in, I'm exceptionally grateful. So that's my story.
I love that. I love how you said it was infinitely more than you expected. I love that. And then 2 things that you said that really stood out to me that I feel like would touch a mama's heart. The first one is you're teaching your kids how to dream by dreaming and letting them see you lead. So your kids are going to grow up to know that they can go after whatever dreams they have. What mom does not want that for her kids? I love it. And then you also said, instead of having to go back and teach, now you get to do what you love. You get to be the room mom. You get to find those cute outfits or make the cool snacks, take them on the field trips when all of this is over. So I love that this opportunity allows you to be the kind of mom that you want to be, focus on what you want to focus on, and really teach them how to dream. So thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks for
Next,
having me.
you're going to get to hear from Brittany. She has 5 kids, ages 5 to 18. You heard that right. So she has one applying for college and another one learning the ABCs simultaneously. She teaches all her kids to shoot guns, wash dishes, and love Jesus. She mills her own wheat for bread, but always has a secret stash of chocolate on the side. If you can relate to the chocolate mom life, comment chocolate below. She started for the products, but she didn't want to live paycheck to paycheck forever. So this has completely transformed her life. Brittany, take it away.
Thank you, Brooke. Well, first of all, I love Jacqueline's story, and there was absolutely no judgment here, Jacqueline. Just so you know, even if it was a bottle of wine, the jury might still be out on that one. Glass bottle, we don't know. But either way, we love Jacqueline. Her story is so inspiring, and I can relate to a lot of what she said. I have always homeschooled my kids. And like Brooke said, we have five of them, and we were a one income family. So I was actually looking for something that I could do to bless my family financially without having to give up what was the most important to me, and that was educating my children at home. We lived in the middle of nowhere where I just did not feel comfortable enrolling my kids in any of the schools that were near where we lived. There just was not much opportunity for my children where we lived, especially as homeschoolers. And so I just wanted more. Like, I wanted to be able to say yes more to things that were important to me and my family. I wanted to be able to take my kids to places that we were learning about, and so on and so on. So, as a one income family, we definitely had our needs met, but I wanted to be able to have money to do the extra things and just wanted to not have to say no so much. So, I found these products, and when I learned about how the vast majority of health related issues that we struggle with have the same root problems, which our products address, I could see the opportunity immediately. And so I jumped all in, and I just put my head down and run. And at this point, earning well over a six-figure income, and that has changed my family's life completely. We have been able to move to my dream city at this point, which is Savannah, Georgia. So it's still very southern, lots of history, lots of opportunity here for my children. And at this point, we have them all enrolled in a really good private school here. Currently, we are back to homeschooling because of COVID-19, but this is not my first rodeo, so I'm cool with that. So, anyways, all of these opportunities would not have been available to my family if I had not pursued this opportunity. And so I love our products. I love that our products have helped me with better digestion and with my sugar cravings. They've helped my husband with his allergies that he used to struggle with. But you know what's really transformed our lives is this business opportunity. I'm especially thankful right in this moment because my husband, he is in construction, and he may or may not be able to work over the next several months, and I can still work. It's such a blessing to have that peace knowing that my business is completely online. I never have to leave my house. I never even have to touch product that I'm sharing with other people about. Don't have to carry inventory, deliver anything. It's completely online. All I have to do is be willing to share about something that I know can change someone's world, change someone's health, change someone's finances. And so I definitely am bold in doing that. And I think what has made me a better mama when it comes to Plexus is what Jacqueline said, leadership. This opportunity has turned me into a leader. And my children have grown up watching their mama lead a team of thousands of people. And so they hear how I have to struggle to overcome my fears, or struggle to overcome rejection, or develop grit, and just develop myself as a leader. And these are skills that they will take into their lives, into their futures, and will help them go and be successful. And I already see that happening with my oldest son, who is about to graduate high school. And I know that I know that I know if it weren't for Plexus in my family's life, that my senior in high school would not be on the path that he is on. And so I'm just so grateful that God brought this to us when he did, and that we have the security right now, especially through all of this madness.
Wow. Beyond the products, beyond the opportunity, she literally has transformed her son's life. She said he would not be on the path that he is on now if it were not for this. I love that our founders, their heart is to create a legacy company. And that is truly what's happening when we're affecting generations to come. Another thing I love that she said, our needs were met, but I just wanted to be able to say yes more. Many of you watching, especially before all of this coronavirus stuff, maybe you felt that way. Maybe you felt like, well, yeah, we can occasionally go out to eat. So what if I have to cook at home? We can save up and go to grandma's house for a vacation. It's not so bad. We're not saying that that's bad at all. That's amazing. But what if you could say yes to guitar lessons and yes to that beach vacation, or yes to putting $400 of groceries in your cart when a time like this comes? What if you could say, my husband might be out of work in the construction field, but it's okay, because all while I'm over here social distancing on my phone, I'm bringing in 6 figures and changing my family's life. If that does not inspire you, I don't know what does. Thank you so much for sharing. And then one last thing, she talked about being a leader. And I don't know about you, but it motivated me to hear her talk about learning to overcome fears and being a leader of thousands. But I'll tell you one thing about her and all of us, we started just leading ourselves and then leading one person and then two. So if you listen to that and you're like, I can't be like her, you can be, because we all started in exactly the same spot as a mama, probably listening to another mama or an event like this and just deciding, what if I could do this too? So you're going to love the next person's story as well. You're going to hear from Courtney, and Courtney has 4 kids, ages 8, 7, 5, and almost 2. She's a military wife whose husband was actually deployed when she started making 6 figures with this company. She had 2 babies at home during that time as well. She makes her own tortillas. She homeschools. She loves to shop, and actually first considered this when she saw her sister win a shopping spree and take her as a guest. And she finds herself forever washing dirty dishes off of her gorgeous white walls. So Courtney, will you share your story with us?
Yes, it sounds like you're quite the detective over there. I love shopping. I love my walls to stay clean. So, and with 4 kids, like it's just like it's a daily struggle. So, I loved everything that everyone has shared. It's all so true. And if I wasn't already doing Plexus, I'd be like, "Where's the dotted line? I need to do this." But my story, so my sister's the one who introduced me to Plexus. At the time, I was working at a salon. My husband, yes, he is in the military. He is a combat medic and he is gone a lot. We didn't know that at the time when he chose that. And we were like, wow, you're going to be gone a lot because there's a shortage on this. So he's gone a lot. So at the time I was doing hair and he was home and I was working opposite shifts of him. So he'd work during the day in the morning and then he'd come home at night and I would go to work and then I'd also work on the weekends. And that was a lot on our family. Like we were a new family. We had 3 babies and just working opposites and never having family time was just crazy. Like at the time, I didn't think much of it. But what finally put me at my limit was it was my birthday weekend and 4th of July coming up. So I specifically took off a Saturday and a Sunday. And I was like, we are going to go to the beach. We're going to rent a beach house. We're going to have so much fun. We've never been on a trip as a family. And it's been like, I don't know how many years. It had been a couple years. So we had that all set up. And then I looked at my work schedule and there was a salon meeting for everybody that Sunday that I took off so I could be gone. And I was just sitting there trying not to cry the whole time. And I was like, I am so done with this. Like, this is not cool. I do not want to look back on my life and just remember missing out on all the fun we could have had. So in the meantime, during all of that, my sister had introduced me to this thing called Plexus, and I thought she was crazy. I was like, I don't know what leaky gut is, but I think you totally made that up to convince me to try this because it sounds made up. But because we're sisters and we do everything together, I was like, oh, whatever, I'll try it. So I got on the products and I noticed all these things changing. And I was like, wow, how is just taking these 3 things a day, like making my sleep better and my periods are better. And I'm not like a hormonal crazy tornado anymore. Like, what is happening? So that was my first experience with Plexus. And then still during all of it, she was like, you need to do this business, forget doing hair. Like, why are you even working all of that time? You don't even hardly make any money. You could make $9,000 a month and have a free Lexus doing this with me. And I'm like, yeah, right. Okay. So I kept working, and then I had enough after that work meeting incident. And I started sharing with friends. When I worked at the salon, I could not sell hairspray to save my life. I actually don't tell very many people this, but I almost got fired because I never sold any retail, because I felt weird about it. Like, I'm like, these people don't need to spend $30 on hairspray. This is nuts. They can go buy it cheaper. So for me, when she was asking me like, hey, do this with me, I was like, I can't sell hairspray, but I'll just tell my friends about this. And if they want it, I'll let you know. And sure enough, I made some Facebook posts, and a lot of my friends were interested. And I was like, that's weird. Well, you can go see my sister. She's doing this business. I'm not doing this. I'm not a part of this. So she secretly signed up all my friends that I kept sending her under me. So at the time, I didn't know I was making money. I got like a Plexus card in the mail with, like, it was like a debit card. I didn't know what it was. So I just threw it in my wallet. And seriously, I could go back and slap myself. But finally she convinced me to work this business when she took me on a shopping spree, like Brooke said. I had seen so many friends doing similar businesses, and a lot of them just never went anywhere with it. So I had a lot of issues with believing that I could actually make income with this, especially with being a busy mom. So after I got to this shopping spree and was like, oh my gosh, I was like, I want to do this. These people are awesome. I want to be like all these people here. The culture was amazing, so different than anything I'd ever seen. So after that, I was sold. But the second thing that really sold me was when our bank account got hacked while we were on a vacation, and we had no money because we couldn't get our debit cards and all that stuff. And our bank was USAA, and they don't have actual banks. So I was like, what are we gonna do? And so I was like, let me check this Plexus card. Maybe there's, I don't know. Fallon said there was like money on it for commission, and I checked my account balance, and I almost freaked out because I almost thought that was hacked too, because there was so much money on there. I'm like, there's $3,000 on here and I haven't done anything. And my sister's like, girl, it's your paycheck. I told you you could make money doing this. You've been talking to your friends about it. So once I realized how simple it was to share something that I knew would help so many people versus sharing a hairspray that was overpriced, I was like, all right, how do I do this? So I started working the business. My husband deployed, he came back, he deployed again. We had another baby, a lot of difficult, really stressful times, but I was so thankful during all those times to be present for my kids. A lot of families, both mom and dad, they're working, they're not home with their babies, and you're missing out on a lot. So I felt like it was really special to me that through it all, through him being gone a lot, I was able to be home with my kids and still make money without adding extra stress to deployment life, because, it is a lot of work to do everything on your own. There's good parts about it, like homecoming and all that is always so fun for me. But to be able to not have to run my kids to daycare or pay for daycare, and deal with all that was such a huge blessing to me. And now we're able to go on family vacations and not even blink because I'm able to pay for that. When I became a mom, I always wanted to do something outside of motherhood, not because I wanted to be away, but just because I just wanted something else to do. Like, I just felt like it was really fun. So to be able to put both of those together and, not have to pay out to do it or miss out to do it is just so awesome, especially during times like this. I have a lot of friends who they're looking for side jobs now because they can't go to their work. So it's so nice to not have to break the bank to buy extra groceries. You guys, before I did Plexus, working off my hairstylist income, it was like breaking the bank to buy my son $100 pair of glasses. So to be able to stock up on a few extra things, not toilet paper because that's all gone, was such a blessing for us. And if I can do this, starting from where I was, not knowing a darn thing about social media, I didn't know anything about selling because this is more sharing anyways. If I can do this, anyone can do it.
I love it. And I see that you dress the part. What does your shirt say?
It says mothers are magic. Is it
Oh,
backwards? I can't tell if it is because my screen, but
no, I see it. I love it. That's awesome. And one of the things you said that literally just pulled my heartstrings is I didn't want to look back at the end of my life and see all the fun that I missed. Ugh, like I can totally relate to that. Hearing other moms talk about missing a birthday party or having to celebrate on a different day because they had a meeting at work, and you get to design your schedule. You get to pick that. And I also think it's so fitting and so funny that you couldn't sell hairspray as a hairdresser, because literally I've said that before too. I'm like the worst salesperson in the world. That's literally not what you do here. Maybe you see some other companies and you have to have sales quotas or things like that. All she did was tell some friends and she accidentally made $3,000. If you would like to accidentally make $3,000 right now, say 3,000 in the comment, because literally that's incredible and I love it. So thank you for sharing, Courtney. Next, you're going to hear from Alita. Alita was a mom to four who found herself from tragedy as a widowed mother who needed this opportunity to provide. Well, now she's happily married, has 7 kids, ages 5 to 15. She loves to cook from scratch while simultaneously being the messiest cook you've ever seen, which I would love to debate you on that. I think I have my flour, I wear it all over me, so we could cook together one day. But she loves to laugh, loves to sing, and often finds herself saying things like, stop drinking from the pool water. So you're going to really relate to her. Alita, take us back and share your story.
Oh, thank you, Brooke. You are fabulous. Okay. Your hat, your personality. I love your energy. It is such an honor to be on here tonight. Thank you for including me. Any chance I get an opportunity to hop on and share my story, I consider it probably one of the most humbling things that I can do to give back for everything I've received during probably the hardest time of my life. So I want to share a little bit of my story with you tonight. It starts about 4 years ago when I skeptically finally clicked enroll after a very feisty, amazing, hilarious friend of mine, Jennifer Leith, kept reaching out. So maybe you're on here and you're like, yeah, I have a friend who's kept reaching out to me. And I'll tell you, I smiled every time she reached out to me because she really just encouraged me. Hey, I see you working on the farm. We had a farm. I was teaching cheese classes, y'all. I was actually teaching people how to make mozzarella cheese and homemade yogurt. And she said, I see how hard you're working. I think I have a different way for you to earn some money to bring in. We were a 1-income family. I had 4 kids under the age of 6 when I started Plexus, including a newborn baby. My husband unexpectedly passed away. And so through this time of really trying to figure out, what am I going to do? What are my options? I had just kind of started sharing organically Plexus actually right before he passed away. And so I already kind of had this idea that this really worked. I was watching my friend. She was just, driving a Lexus car, living the dream. And she was just so encouraging. She's like, girl, you just need to do this. I had I think I had like 400 friends on Facebook. I was the person that would post the most random things. Okay. I'd be like, I'm down at the milk barn. And that's like all I would say. I had no social media experience and I just wasn't sure if it was something that I could do. And so when I found myself in a position of really understanding that life can turn on a dime, and a lot of you watching this are experiencing that right now. It's like we're experiencing how fast life can change collectively. And so something that I learned through this season of being widowed with no life insurance, I had 4 kids under the age of 6 years old. I was still nursing a baby and grieving the loss, a tremendous loss in our family. About 4 months after that, my mom passed away from pancreatic cancer. So in that time, I was flying back to Canada from Tennessee with all these kids. It was like, sometimes it was like Chinese torture trying to fly all those kids by myself. Okay. It was crazy. But one thing I did not worry about was money. And that is crazy. And if I could come through the screen and grab you by your face and say, you can do this. You can provide for your family. You can provide under any circumstance you're in. that your circumstances don't define you, that no matter what is happening or what is to come, in the fear of the unknown, embrace it and look at it as a catalyst of change, that this has come for our good, to say, here, how can we change this into our good? And so I really believe that, as I was praying for an answer, that I really saw something completely different. My perspective changed. I realized a couple of things, that life is really short. So maybe you're unexpectedly homeschooling your kids, but maybe you're also unexpectedly really freaking loving it. And you're thinking, I want to do this. Or maybe your spouse is home more and you're thinking, I would really love this to be our lifestyle. This is that answer to that prayer that you have of really realizing your perspective has changed and what is out there for you. And so within about 14 months, I was earning 6 figures a year. I was giving more as a single widowed mom than I'd ever given before. I was able to be with my kids, enroll them in a private school since they'd been homeschooled before. We were able to travel back and forth to Canada, my homeland, and we were able to just say yes to all the extra things that I never dreamed possible when I was a stay-at-home mom, let alone a single widowed mom. And so my heart and my passion is definitely these products. I see it as health food for the masses. But when it comes down to it, I will literally climb rooftops to shout this out because it changed my ever-loving life. And it wasn't just the finances. It was the community of uplifting people that supported me through a really trying time in my life. And to have people cheering you on to succeed is pretty fantastic when you're really looking at your life is crumbling around you. And so it helped me to build my confidence, to build my bank account, and to teach my kids that no matter what life throws at you, you can still do anything, that anything is possible and you can make a difference. So that's my story.
I literally got chills the entire time you were talking. You are so inspirational. I absolutely love everything you said. And did you hear her say, I didn't worry about money? Like maybe you're watching and that doesn't even connect with you, because I know that for me before this, that was literally almost all we worried about, paycheck to paycheck. What if our car breaks down? What if the kid, whatever, there's always something to worry about. And even though her world was crumbling and there was a lot for her to worry about, it was one less thing she had to worry about. So what if right now we're facing so many unknowns in our country and all over the world, health, jobs, finances? What if that could be one less thing that you have to worry about? You heard her say, I want to come through the screen and scream this from the rooftops because you can do this. Thank you so much for sharing that and giving that belief to us. Last but not least, you get to hear from Julia, who has 5 kids from 15 months to 13 years old. She remembers a time when she had 4 kids under the age of 4 when she was actually wheelchair bound. So she says that was the hardest time of her life. They were very happy with their family, but they decided to start all over because adoption had always been on their heart, and they single-handedly funded the adoption of a sweet baby boy Reese thanks to this opportunity. She calls herself coordinator of the chaos. She hosts the most fantastic themed breakfast for her family and often finds herself wondering what she did with all her spare time before kids. Julia, take us back.
Well, you didn't warn me I was going to be falling right after Alita, because her story always just gives me chills and just reminds me to thank the Lord for this business. But my Alexis story started about 6 years ago. My husband, he had been in the ministry for about 9 years, and we moved to Dallas, Texas for him to finish seminary. Now, for him to finish seminary, he had to take just kind of a little sales driving job, actually his first secular job of our marriage. And he was going to work hard, make enough money for us to live off of, for him to go to seminary. And because it was my passion, everything I ever wanted to be was a stay-at-home mom. I had taught school previously, but as Brooke said, I had 4 young kids. That my oldest was 4 when my 4th was born. So they were doorsteps. And I met a friend in Sunday school, and soon she started posting about plexus. Now, I had never heard the word plexus, but I'll tell you, early in our marriage, Jared and I had decided we would never sell anything. he was a youth pastor. So we were broke. We had lots of kids. And so we had done the whole thing where we would go to a party and I would sit on the couch, and I'm a people pleaser. And so I would buy whatever they were selling and then go home and try to figure out how we were going to pay for it. And it made me feel kind of icky. And I was like, I don't ever want to pressure my friends. So we're the type of people, we were like, we're never going to sell anything. So when I saw this Plexus stuff, I just was like, friends are selling something I don't really understand. I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to buy it. Now, more and more of my friends, in fact, I say after a month or two passed, every woman I knew in the DFW area was selling Plexus. And I discovered the unfollow button. I don't know if you know the unfollow button, but I had a rule. If you sold something, I unfollowed you. I mean, I wasn't being mean. I just used social media to keep in touch with my family and my friends back in Alabama. And I didn't want to be sold to. In fact, we had a Bible study on Tuesday, and a few of the girls were really into Plexus. And I was like, if you mention it again, I will never come back to Bible study. Like, I'm not going to come back. So what changed? My youngest, my two youngest at the time, they were 2 and 4, had severe skin issues. And that same dear friend during a play date handed me a bottle of our ProBio 5. And she said, Julia, please try this with your children. Now, I'll tell you, honestly, I think I tried it maybe twice and I said it didn't work. And maybe you're like me out there. Maybe you have tried Plexus and you tried it like twice or maybe even a month and you say it doesn't work. It takes consistency. It takes a little bit more time. It's gut health. I had never heard the word probiotic or gut health before this time. So I am really I just did not understand it. Now, a few months passed. It actually took 8 months. It was 8 months of me ignoring all my friends, unfollowing them on social media till my husband actually lost that job. And we found ourselves, I was a mom, 4 young kids. We were already struggling to make ends meet. We had no idea what we were going to do. And I actually remember standing in my living room in Texas, and I didn't want help. I didn't want my sister or my parents or someone to have to bail us out. And I remember just praying to God, I really just provide for us a way out of this financial hole. But, and you don't really give God stipulations, but I did. I said, but I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Don't make me go back to work. And in my mind, I had no idea how those two things were going to go hand in hand. But I went to breakfast with that friend that gave me that ProBio 5 and taught me about Plexus. And I just nonchalantly asked her, I said, how much are you making with this Plexus stuff? And at that time, she was Sapphire, which is one step away from the top of our company. And guys, I about fell off my chair. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. The amount of money she told me. So, and in my mind, if she could make that amount of money, I was like, I can make $1,000 because I knew I had done the numbers. If I could make $1,000 and guys, I was making tutus. I was crafting. I'm a craft queen. I was sewing Halloween costumes. I was like, if I can make $1,000 a month, I don't have to go back to teaching. So I went home. I started giving my children were my guinea pigs. I'm a great mom. And guess what? Their skin started clearing up. The products did what they told me they were going to do. And so I told Jared, I called him, he had taken a job here in Alabama. And I said, if these products work and women that I trust and who have integrity stand behind this business, maybe we should give it a try. So I joined, not a good business person because I bounced our checkbook because I joined, didn't look to see if we really had that money. And I jumped in with 2 feet though. And I hit the ground floor running. And we moved to Alabama 2 weeks after I joined. Now, my next favorite memory from just that prayer is my first paycheck with Plexus. I was definitely, as Brooke said, we moved to Mobile with $36 to our name. We had no idea how we were going to pay rent. Jared had taken another sales job. He hadn't sold a thing. I love him, but he is not a salesperson. And I remember being in the parking lot of the grocery store thinking, okay, is this debit card going to go through? Remember, I'm not real good at bank accounts. And it was always a guessing game. And I remember opening up my email to see my first paycheck. And guys, to the penny, not only was it enough to cover our first month products, because I knew we had to be on the products, but it was to the penny enough to cover our first month rent. And that was just right then and there. I knew tears started streaming, and I'm really not a huge crier.
But I knew that this was going to be what changed the course for our family, not just provide for us at that time, but to change the future for our family. And I continued to work. And I told people I worked. This is not the lottery. I told anybody that would listen, I called up every friend because, guys, these products were working for my family. My husband stopped having migraines. My mother, who has an autoimmune disease, like her symptoms started getting better. And so I wanted to tell everyone, and it was changing our life financially. I was homeschooling at the time, all 4 kids, and probably about 9 months in, I hit Emerald, and about that time of year, I think the average income is around $10,000 a month. Guys, we had never done that, and Jared still had that sales job, and I was like, Jared, you should just quit your job. We're making more money than we've ever made. Just quit your job. I was joking. He was not. He didn't go back to work. So he has been a stay-at-home dad for over 4 years. And I like to tell people, we wouldn't be here if these products didn't work. These products are life-changing. The financial blessing it has given us has been so freeing. But what I love the most that Plexus has given our family is time freedom. We have the time, just as Brooke said, if you have your husband, we're always home together. This quarantine's nothing to us, but the time to have lunch dates and the time to travel. And we're trying to hit all 50 states before the kids graduate high school. We don't have to worry about any boss or someone telling us that we can't go on this vacation. Just the memories we have been given because of Plexus. Also, 2 Christmases ago, all 4 kids asked for a baby brother for Christmas. And we were like, that shop closed. But we knew we've always had a heart for adoption. And honestly, we just kind of thought because of finances, we would never be able to do it. And Jared and I actually traveled to Israel and kind of had a good downtime, just us time. And we started talking and praying about adoption. And guys, we started the adoption process in March. We were matched with a birth mother in September and had Reese in our arms in November. That's 7 months. The Lord's hand was so on that. And I'll tell you one thing, we did not have to worry about raising a penny of support because of our Plexus income. That was something that we didn't have to stress about. And I'll start crying. Maybe I am a crier because I think about Reese, and we have changed ultimately his eternity by bringing him into our family and just seeing God work of bringing him to us and really providing through Plexus. Now, during this time, I want to take you back to that grocery store. I went to that same grocery store today and that I stood at and got my first paycheck. And I went in and my parents were kind of staying with me during this whole thing. And I bought a bunch of groceries to make dinner every night. I don't cook. It's not me. It's really my mom and my husband cooking. Another good thing about having a stay-at-home husband. But I got to the cashier and I saw the total, and I'll tell you, it was over $600. And I was like, whoa, that's a lot. But it was more like, whoa, that's a lot. Oh, but I got it. Don't worry about it. Guys, that's financial freedom. That is financial freedom. That same cashier that I used to think, can I buy $100 worth of groceries, to be able to say, okay, we've got it. And to be able to provide for my family and even my parents at this time. And that is why I'm so thankful for this business. There I go, Brooke.
What a full circle moment from being there, opening your first paycheck, to right now, just being able to provide for your whole family. And I always get tears hearing you talk about Reese. So literally, you're right. You've changed his entire eternity and his future. And what a blessing that is. And the thing is, whatever dreams are on your heart as a mama, maybe it's to pay for college. Maybe it is to adopt. Maybe it's to adopt many kids. Maybe it's to be a foster mom. Maybe it's to pay for weddings with cash, go on vacation, whatever that is. To be able to do that with time freedom and financial freedom, I want you to know that even during this crazy time, this is possible. All of the ladies that you've heard from on this call tonight, they are normal mamas who are making 6 figures from an app while they're social distancing, like we talked about before. So whether you're normally a working mom, a homeschool mom, a stay-at-home mom, or whatever kind of mom you are, people need these products. You've heard little glimpses of testimonies tonight. They get to the root and they change people's lives. But what if you could use this opportunity as well? Our company actually just launched a $6 million stimulus plan to put $600 to $700 into the homes of families who need it most right now. Not to mention, all of our starter packs are 10% off. So if you feel a tugging on your heart, reach out to that person that invited you to this, or is your mom a friend that told you, hey, you should take a look? Just like Alita's friend kept saying, come on, take a look. You could do this. Maybe it's the first time you're listening or the 1,000th time you're listening, but you're already busy. Mamas are busy. Why not add one more thing to your plate? It could literally change your entire life. Thank you so much.